See the next question. The next question was with reference to India's decision to levy an equalization tax of 6% on online advertisements services offered by non-resident entities. Which of the following statement is correct? Again, whenever government announce something in the budget speech, so very important for us, any new tax proposals. Okay, here this question came in 2018 prelims. Okay, look at the question they are asking us with reference to equalization levy. Which of the following statements right? Number 1, it is introduced as part of Income Tax Act. No, friends, remember, it is not part of Income Tax Act, it is announced in the Finance Act. So it's a very factual, so wrong statement. Number 2, the non-resident entities that offer advertisement services in India can claim a tax credit in their home country under the double taxation avoidance agreement. No, they cannot claim. So answer is D, neither 1 nor 2. So what is equalization levy? Simply it is a tax. If a non-resident company like Amazon, Flipkart or Facebook, so wherever, let's say we are advertising example. So we are advertising, let's say 1 crore amount example, 1 crore. So this says, please give me 1 crore plus 6% tax, equalization levy. But 6% we won't pay to the government. Okay, na? So, sorry, we won't pay to the, what you call Facebook. So we pay 1 crore to Facebook and we, whoever is advertising, withhold the tax and pay to the government. So it's like a direct tax, that is the equalization levy. We imposed it, started in 2018, equalization levy. Next question, consider the following statements. Okay, consider the following statements. Which of the statements above are correct? They are asking us correct statement. Now, again 1, 2, 3 statements here. Look at first one. The Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Review Committee. As you know, we have a Singh committee, NK Singh committee. So what are the major recommendations of NK Singh committee? Number 1, friends, along with fiscal deficit, we should keep in mind debt to GDP also. Debt to GDP also. He also recommended debt to GDP should be around 60%. In that 40 for the central government, 20 for the states. Number 2, he recommended fiscal deficit should be 2.5% of GDP by 22-23. By 22-23. Number 3, if unforeseen circumstances happens like war, natural disasters, collapse of agricultural activities, we can breach the fiscal deficit target by not more than 0.5%. 0.5%, like that he gives so many recommendations. But understand one thing, the FRBM review committee recommended debt to GDP 60 for general government, 40 for the center, 20 for the states. Yes. So when I say the word general government, central government plus state governments. When the word center is there, only central government. Number 2. So if 1 is right, eliminate B. The central government has domestic liabilities 21% of GDP as compared to 49% GDP of the state governments. It is wrong. See, they are not asking here number. In India, if you take GDP 100 rupees, generally central government has more debt than states. So it's a wrong statement here. If eliminate 2 is wrong, automatically D gone. As for the Constitution of India, it is a mandatory for a state. Yes, it is a mandatory for a state to take central government's consent for raising any loan if the farmer owes any outstanding liabilities later. Yes, you might have heard article number 292, article number 293, friends. Article 292 talks about borrowings of the central government. Article 293 talks about the borrowings of the state governments. In 293, there are 3 clauses, 1, 2, 3. In third, they added one point. If central government gives some loan to the states, as the predecessor government gives some loans to the states, if they give any guarantee, if they want to raise more money, so they need the central government consent. So 1 and 3 is the correct. So C is the answer. C for Chennai is the answer. So that is a fiscal responsibility question. Next question, see, consider the following statements. This question came in 2017. Which of the statements above are correct? First option, tax revenue as percentage of GDP of India has steadily increased the last decade. Again, whenever they keep decade continuously, generally wrong, generally, unless it is a debt. If you see India's debt, absolute number it is increasing, but again debt to GDP, again there is ups and downs, so it is a wrong statement. Fiscal deficit. What is fiscal deficit? When government is spending more than their income. So in a financial year, example, total expenditure is 100 rupees, friends. Revenue receipts are, let's say 50 rupees, example, 60 rupees revenue receipts. So let's say in capital receipts, non-debt capital, non-debt, like 20 rupees. So 60 plus 20, 80, then they have to borrow the debt 20, that is what exactly fiscal deficit. So here how much government is planning to borrow in a financial year is simply fiscal deficit. So they are asking us fiscal deficit as percentage of GDP of India has steadily increased in the last decade. Again wrong statement, answer is D. So here by seeing this question you can think tomorrow they can ask about revenue deficit also, primary deficit also, effective revenue deficit also. Then they can ask here direct taxes, indirect taxes. So like that we have to prepare remaining topics. Now look at these trends I copied here. The trends in tax receipts in 2013-14, 10.1, there is upward trend, then constant, downward trend, there is ups and downs side. Look at here direct taxes, indirect taxes also, there is upward ups and downs are there. Look at what you call deficit trends, deficit, the fiscal deficit, downward, but here constant, then down, then because of COVID, upward, again downward path. So they can ask in prelims, fiscal deficit as percentage of GDP. Why they keep 10 years? Generally in the economic survey or budget speech, they mention 5 years trend, 10 years trend. So they repeat the same thing, Next question, see, a decrease in tax to GDP ratio. Yes. In economy, we express everything in the percentage of GDP, like tax to GDP, debt to GDP, exports to GDP, savings to GDP, investments to GDP. So here they are asking us a decrease in tax to GDP ratio of a country indicates which of the following. As you know, tax to GDP nothing but tax collections by GDP into 100. Let's assume tax collection to the central government, let's say 10 rupees, for example. Then our total GDP is 100 rupees. Then you say tax to GDP is 100, tax to GDP is 10%. So they are asking us a decrease in tax to GDP indicates slowing economic growth rate. Yes, generally when economy is growing, we may collect more tax. There is a tax buoyancy, tax elasticity. In tax buoyancy, without changing tax rates. So if GDP is growing, what is the tax collection? But in tax elasticity, when there is change in tax rates, what is happening in the tax collections? Okay, so here slowing economic growth rate, yes, chances are there, right? So eliminate B. Less equitable distribution of national income. Again, we cannot say like this, if tax collection is reducing means less distribution of what we call equal distribution. It maybe, may not be, so we cannot say. So answer is only A is correct, A is correct.